Yeah.
Check, check, check.
And that's when I say hello to myself.
I know, yeah, same. I think
it's saying live. It's saying live on Facebook. Excellent.
Perfect. Here we are. Yes, welcome. I always, you know what? I was watching our videos back, just basically to just check what they were like before I went live on YouTube. And I always say welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good. It must be your thing, like certain interviewers and interviewees. They have a kind of set start. I know Lewis Howes does. I say I listen to the podcast, The School of Greatness, which I do. Shout out about. I really love it, but because he's American, obviously every time he opens it, because I'm super pumped to have you here.
Super pumped, yeah. I'm super pumped.
So I think you do the British version. You're welcome.
I do the British.
Welcome, Amanda.
I was watching a podcast with Ross Edgley. The guy who swam round the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop laughing that I said swam.
So glad I runned this morning.
Did you run?
I'm joking.
He basically says he was talking about, because he was on the Joe Rogan podcast and he was so British, and he was saying that he said basically he wanted to cover the most outdoor swim that's ever gone on, and he said he wanted to do the longest open water swim, and he said the army commander went up to him with a cup of tea. He looked him up and down and went, yeah, that's just pointless, mate. Why don't you just swim around the whole UK? The way it's so British, I thought that is Britain.
Yeah, definitely. Love it.
Yeah, and I actually went and made a brew. I was just proud to be British.
Yes, in your British flag cup.
Yeah. Although today I'm very American because I can't stop drinking these. These are my most positive thing that's come out of lockdown.
Oh, I haven't found a Starbucks nearby open yet. Is there?
No, it's just from Sainsbury's.
Oh.
Or Lidl, actually, £1 each.
No, I've got that version.
Oh yeah.
Just got a mug, but still, it's all in the belief system.
Exactly. So, welcome to everyone that's watching.
Hi everyone. Sorry, we haven't actually got.
Kay's joined in. She said morning. We wanted today to talk about. Obviously, it's Mental Health Awareness Week. We posted a lot, and you've done some amazing posts through the week that have said, basically, daily challenges. There's been some, give a compliment was today's that I saw. It looked really good. Just to give a compliment, I think that's great. And then the 2468 had a nice voice note of Andrew, who we appreciate. And he said Newcastle United. No, he didn't. But yeah. So basically, we were just talking. I wanted to talk today and ask you a few things, just about Mental Health Awareness Week and what it means to you. As you very regularly, and it's your profession, about being kind of in this environment all the time, and while it's great that we're having a week completely designated to it, how important is it on us to look at mental health throughout the year? How important?
I know it's forever, and there's a kind of love and hate thing with this, because I do love the fact that we are doing this week. But I just wish it was every week and it didn't have to be a thing. Yeah. It's like, we should be taking care of our mental health as much as our physical health.
Yeah,
and well-being. It's the same, and I think that's what people get confused about, because and that was the first thing actually on my notes. Just stop me, Rob, if I go on. But that was the first thing when I was kind of looking at writing just some notes to keep on track and make sure everybody gets some good content. I was thinking, do you know what? There's such a big thing that people use the words mental health and mental illness interchangeably. And it's not right. And that's why I think there's sometimes a lot of people, they have this stigma, and it shouldn't be, but people believe that they're well because they don't have a mental illness.
Yeah.
It's not about that. Mental illness and ill mental health are two different two total different scenarios that we need to kind of identify, really. And I thought that might be a nice thing to start off with. They're not the same thing. Both of them needs support, both of them needs treating, yes, but they are very separate. You know, you can have poor mental health without a mental illness.
Yeah, of course.
And that's, sorry, go on.
You're absolutely right in saying that, because a lot of us have said, when we talk about mental health, like you said, we talk about, you know, are you suffering with anxiety or depression, or are you suffering, you know, with anything, you know, else? But actually, it may not be that you're always looking at, you know, what you're suffering with. It may be, you know, what are you doing to increase your positive mindset this week? Or it may be, you know, those things are really important as well. Even if you are having a great week and you are positive as well, it's really great to spend that time on yourself and tune in to who you are and what you do, and you know, to kind of keep realigning yourself with yourself. And that's important as well. Yeah,
because, you know, it's in life, well, we all have mental health at the end of the day. Let's just say we all have mental health. So, you know, there's a lot of people go, oh, I'm happy, I'm this. Yes, but you have mental health that you're taking care of. Okay, so we all, let's just get that out there. We all have mental health. And in life, everyone won't necessarily experience a mental illness, but they will at some point. Everyone will struggle or have a challenge with their mental health or mental well-being. And actually, let me just say that sometimes I might flip between mental health, mental well-being in this. It's the same. That is the same. I'm talking about that in the same context. Okay, so if I slip from one to another, that's why. Okay, but yeah, we will. Majority of us, I'd say 99.9% people, you know, life's life, isn't it? We are all going to have some kind of challenge with our mental health at some point. And it's kind of like just as much as we would with our physical health. You know, our physical health fluctuates, doesn't it?
So it's like when you get an injury, isn't it? It's, you know, it's just the same kind of thing, to be honest. Yeah,
and sometimes, you know, we're at our healthy weight, we feel fine, we feel good, we've got energy, our cardio stuff is good, you know. But again, they can kind of go up and down, and we know what we need to work on because physically it's there, so we do.
Yeah.
But mental health wise, people don't see it as important. It's like, yeah, I'm just down. I've just been down for a week. It's just me. It's about taking care of it just as much as you take care of your body.
Yeah.
And the two, you know, they both need to have the same level of commitment, really.
Yeah.
To then make sure that your mental health and mental well-being, is taken care of all the time. So then when challenges do come, when curveballs do come in life, then we have that inner resilience to cope. And you kind of, when your mental well-being and mental health is in a good place, you know that only because you are coasting with life. You can handle certain things and challenges and things that have come. And it's not saying, oh, you're skipping and down, but you know that better days will come. You have that kind of feeling that, yeah, this is awful, but it'll pass. You have the tools you know, that you can dig upon or dig out to get you through those times that aren't so great.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, you know, it's really important, especially during this time, during lockdown, or kind of semi-lockdown, which I think is kind of the consensus at the moment. But also, I feel like taking care of yourself is more important than ever. Max has tuned in. He says hello. Hi, Max.
Hi, Max.
But taking care of yourself now more than ever mentally, because we are not in routine, is a great chance to build routine with your own mental health and continue, because life isn't 100 miles an hour at the moment for us that aren't key workers or critical workers, you know, and there's obviously techniques that can help those amazing guys as well. But there's a real opportunity now to build in some solid mental health practice and mental well-being practice, no matter if you feel like, well, I'm, like you said, I'm not mentally ill, so why should I train it? Well, it's, you know, I'm very fit, but I still want to get fitter, you know. And I wasn't just saying I'm very fit, although obviously I am.
Even if you do say so yourself, Rob.
Yeah.
Why not build yourself up? I'm a champion.
Exactly, but you know, that's now is the perfect time to build routine. So I'd be very interested to know. Obviously, we've spoke about a morning routine and an evening routine. Any other things that you've kind of built in or you suggested to other people during the week, especially this week, where you've said this really helps with mental health and really helps?
Yeah, there's been a similar pattern, to be honest, at the moment with most people. It is helping. But just to go back to it, it just reminded me before I go on to this point, when you've mentioned about now we're at home and we've got time, and you know, I know some people are watching this going, I've got no time. And that's what we'll talk about in a minute. Yeah. We'll talk about that. Don't worry, you guys. But I loved it. I was on in a group and I was doing an inspirational, motivational speech for a group this week. Was it this week or the end of last week? It's all gone into one. But anyway, recently, no, it was the end of last week. Anyway, it was really good because there was a lady in that kind of rephrased something. I love rephrasing and things all the time. Yeah. And somebody had said something about lockdown and she was like, let's not call it lockdown. I was like, oh, what can we call it? You know, let's call it home retreat.
All right,
cool. Yeah, because we're having our own little home retreat.
Yeah,
so kind of going back to that sense, you know, now's a time that we can actually do a bit of the self-care stuff if you can. And it's about kind of exploring those bigger questions that are coming up and, you know, but not ignoring them, as I've said, but just exploring them and being okay with them and working through them. And when you say what's helping people in these times, there's been a number of things coming up, but to help people at the moment, the main one with anybody, and whether this be on your own, I'm on my own and I do my own routine, my own structure, whether it's with a family, it's about creating a structure to every day. Have a structure, have a set, and people like this set time that you get up. You know, are you having all your breakfast together? Then are you doing working hours? Then scheduling work hours, a break, work out just like you would at work. And I know people, but I've got family. But there's other people sometimes, if you're lucky, I know. But sometimes there are other people that can balance that out. And it's about talking as a whole. So if you're living with people, you devise one together. So then there's no confusion with the kids, because I think a lot of people have been finding guilt coming up, guilt of not being able to spend all this time. I want to be having fun with my children like everybody else on Facebook. I want to be doing this. And the children are barging in the room and like, I'm working. And then that makes them feel bad, you know, and it's like, but actually if the kids know, look, mummy's not available or dad's not available till such a time, but then they come out and it's our golden time together and we do a fun stuff and it's all set. So you can schedule in the fun stuff and things.
Yeah.
You know, and I appreciate it's got to be flexible, but just at least having a structure to your day, adding in your exercise, as we know, adding in some the times that you connect with people, either in your house or at the moment, if it's just via Zoom, at least connect with people. And I'll go on to this a bit more later because I've got some ideas for actually helping generally what helps your well-being. And connection is a main one. But structure. Definitely having your kind of morning and nighttime routines in place, but having that space to switch off. Journaling, like we talked about this, just because a lot of at the moment everybody's thoughts are whirling round. Thoughts about the future, thoughts about what's happening now. When is it, you know, all these, we know the questions that are coming up. But obviously they can be quite disturbing sometimes because then they're connecting an emotion and it's causing stress. And so we know it's not helping us. So if I could encourage people just in an evening, even if you think, oh, I don't want to journal, just get a piece of paper, write it all down or tap it in your phone, even though you shouldn't really have your phones in the bedroom.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
But I would encourage, write down on paper or whatever, just get down all your thoughts first. And it could be good thoughts. It could be like, today's been a great day. We did this, this and this, you know, whatever. Or it could just be a whole rant on the page. Hate it today. This happened. My breakfast messed up. The barbecue didn't work, whatever. Yeah, and you do all that. Get all that out on the page because then it's gone from here onto there. It's at least offloaded. And then just before, and this is a really important thing, after you've done that, make sure that you then put your brain in a different place and reflect and think, okay, what are the 3 things? Not the gratitude here. These are, just reflect upon your day and think of 3 things that have actually made you smile that day.
Yeah.
They don't have to be the massive things. You know, it could be, oh, that cute robin that popped up on the window ledge. That made you smile. You know, Holly and Phil on this morning said something, made you smile. Your other half came in and made you a brew, or you got that nice text off somebody. Or, you know, just put your head into that space. Now, the reason I say that, it's a bit of an NLP thing here, but it's all about training the brain.
Yeah.
You forget that the brain is a muscle and it can be trained. So in the evening, last thing you're doing is you're reflecting upon your day and you're thinking in your brain, no matter how the day's gone, you're thinking about what's 3 things. And there will be 3 things that have made you smile that day. That puts your brain in a better place before you go to bed. And like I say, you've offloaded any worries. If the worry is persistent, always ask the question, is there anything I can do about this? That'll make you feel better. Yeah, because if there isn't, then at least you have to accept that. Go, well, there isn't. But if there is, you can go, yeah. So tomorrow I'm going to ring this person and sort that out, and it just puts it out of your head and onto the page.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah.
And I do love the structure thing, and I think sometimes structure and a routine without too much pressure, because when society does reboot again, there's going to be a lot of we're in a phase of opening certain shops and we're doing certain things at the moment. But I think that when society gets back to normal, or what normal will be,
this new normal,
it will be 100% go all the time. So if structure is key at the moment, but don't put too much pressure on yourself to do things every day. And instead of, I found that I do notes at night before my breathing, and what I will try and do is plan out the week instead of planning out the day. And then it's like, right, I can do that on this day and that on this day, because like I said before we went live, it's busy at the moment and there's lots of things to do, and we're doing our best to make sure that we're looking after everyone in this group, but also we're looking after the gym, and we're making sure that work-wise we're very, very busy. But it's about planning and being proactive, but also not putting too much pressure on doing everything all at once. Because if that's the case, then everything's not going to get done to the best of the capability anyway, which is just like
it's about that. Let's be, and as you know, I'm the positive realist. We've got to be realistic with this, and not set the bar too high or standards, expectations, and that's upon ourselves. So be kinder. That was what the first actually accountability post put on for mental health this week was. What can you do to be kind to yourself at the moment? And a big one I'd encourage is that lessen the expectations. You're doing the best. Everybody's just doing the best, but also with that, going on with the kindness is also lessen the expectations then on others.
Yeah, of course.
Because a lot of people, we don't know what's going on. Yeah, we are all literally in our own bubbles at the moment.
Yep.
And we just don't know what's going on with everybody else. So lessen the expectations on them. Why haven't they done this? I saw a good post the other day about somebody saying, this isn't the time when you should be questioning people for checking in on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody's having their own journey.
This is the time where, I've made it where I'm trying to not check in, but catch up with 3 people a day.
Yeah.
But this is the time when you ask how you're doing, it's the question of the moment, isn't it? And I suppose that was the going back to Mental Health Awareness Week, it was kindness is key, but ask people how you're doing. And mean it.
Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
No, I was going to say, and a good thing to always do is ask again.
Yeah.
Ask twice.
Right, you sure?
Really, I know it's a tough time, so I am here. Kind of have that second one, because generally we know we've all done it before. We're having a hellish day. Somebody messages you and go, "Hey, how are you?" And you go, "Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. How are you?" No, but if they go, because I know it's. Are you sure? Because I know it's a bit of not the best time at the moment, or people are struggling. You just go, "Yeah, actually, to be fair, it is a bit." And people kind of open up more. you'll find sometimes the second time. I'm not saying you always have to send a second text. Most people, it might be fine, but it's just if you do have a suspicion, yeah, and don't presume. You know, it's often, and this is something actually would be nice to touch upon. It's often the smilers, the ones that seem to be having it all together in this, are actually sometimes the ones that aren't. So don't forget to check in on the smilers as well.
Yeah, of course. We've had Kay say that she's had a lot of meetings with work and come to the agreement that they're continuing to work as they are for at least the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Offices are being closed and funding's being cut, and it's all a little bit dire. They don't have any idea about the school situation, so it's a big thing to wrap their heads around about when normal will be, as it won't be anytime soon. They've really cut themselves a lot of slack and done a lot of fun stuff this week, which is great. The things like quizzes, outdoor time, and prioritising each other has really helped. And I suppose that's such a good thing, you know, to kind of, it's not ignoring the negative, but it's not ignoring what's going on, but it's also not being too hard on yourself. Yeah. And also she's done a great thing, you know, prioritising each other is something that she's probably going to do this week, and hopefully take it into the weeks after and realise that, like you said, when you do all the positive things, your brain is a little bit more positive and it's been trained that way. So hopefully this week, the Mental Health Awareness Week, has hopefully got a few people into doing a little bit more kindness and prioritising each other every week.
I'm sure. And she made a good point there. She made a really good point about, you know, kind of like you say, cutting the slack a little bit and, you know, going, do you know what? We're not going to do that. We're just going to have a bit of fun. Yeah. And I do know, you know, I've got a friend and somebody actually commented on one of my posts the other day and said, my kindness is I'm going to have a day off homeschooling tomorrow. Now, I'm not saying everybody do that, please. All the teachers are going to get on now. Not saying do that, but for their well-being, because they was finding it too hard with the pressures of work, the pressures of the whole homeschooling. They were finding it was affecting the mental health. They were becoming more snappy. They was ratty. They was feeling stressed all the time. I thought, well, actually, I'm just gonna back off, put the brakes on for today, have some fun, and we'll get back on it tomorrow.
Of course.
And it's about that. That is being kind to yourself sometimes.
Yeah, of course it is. Downing
tools and changing. And, you know, I'm sure that they felt the benefits the next day from that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is the way that you feel. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to encourage a lot more breathing techniques, and that kind of, a lot, especially the nighttime ones, you know, switching your brain off and just focusing on your breath for a while, but also training on breathing is so important, and it's made this, you know, I'm grateful that I've been able to learn that this lockdown.
Yeah.
But you know, that whole mindset thing, you know, when you're doing positive things and you're happy about things, it takes it into the next day, doesn't it? And then you know, sometimes you don't realize when you do need to switch off. And I suppose that's very important as well, is that check in with yourself, and if you feel like you're a bit stressed or you want to do a bit of time for yourself, like we said before, this is the time. You know, you couldn't just have a day off school when schools are open, could you? You couldn't just stay home today when work's open. You know, it doesn't really work like that, does it? But yeah, great.
But keeping that, like you said there, mentioning the breath work, things like breath work, meditation, and people going, oh, I haven't got time. We're talking about 5-10 minutes a day. You don't have to be doing more than that, but it's really good to keep your brain in a good place throughout the day. If you're just keeping it relaxed, keeping it calm, and doing that check-in with yourself, even ask the question a couple of times throughout the day. So I've got people who are setting alarms, like they'll set an alarm, like, you know, every 2 hours or so, just check in. How am I feeling with myself?
Yeah.
So generally you're okay. But honestly, how are you feeling? It's like, well, I've got a headache. I feel tired because I didn't sleep last night. And it's giving you clues. But if you're not checking in with yourself, then it gets to the end. And this is kind of what I was going to lead on to, in a sense. If we're not taking care of our well-being and our mental health, then we could end up with a mental illness.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you know, and this is how important it is. It's just like you say, you know, if you're not taking care of your body, and you could end up with, you know, diabetes or some other condition because you haven't taken care of your body. If you don't take care of your mind, it might end up being ill.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what we're trying to, and this is the whole thing about mental health awareness. it's not mental illness yet. Could be,
Yeah.
but it's not yet. Mental health is, we all have it, and please, it's about taking care of it. So I thought it might be good to kind of give you a bit of a rundown of what mental health kind of, well, how do I know if I'm mentally healthy? You know, how do I know? And it's kind of, it is about that. It's not just about feeling happy and positive all the time. It's not about that. It's about having good mental health is, as I said a bit earlier, is about living and coping well despite the curveballs and other things that are coming our way.
Yeah.
And issues and problems.
Well, how would you say that is?
Well, it's about, you kind of have that balance. You have that balance. You're able to balance out the negative and the positives. You're able to, you've got that inner resilience to kind of manage through it and not go the other way and crash. Yeah, you've got that inner resilience, and you've got that trust that this, you know, my favorite mantra is, this too shall pass. You've got that. You've got that feeling and that trust that it will pass. This bad time will pass. Better things will come, and you know, you've kind of got that. And it's so it's bringing that. When you've got that general feeling of contentment. Like I say, you're not skipping and dancing around all the time, but you've got a general feeling of contentment. You enjoy things. You're quite, you know, you're confident in your abilities and things like that. You have a connection with other people. You're able to connect and things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, and no one will give you this. Nobody will give you that well-being. Yeah. It's up to you to keep it well.
Of course.
And this is the thing. It's about, it's just like nobody gives you the healthy body. You've got to work at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same
with our mindset.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like, what I thought might be interesting to talk about is, how do you notice them when it's not?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of when it is.
Yeah.
So you're kind of on a good ebb. It's just generally okay. Yeah. And you're able to cope with life. You'll know when your mental health is decreasing by there's a few little clues. I mean, I wrote down some, but it might be that you don't feel like socializing as much. And I know we're not socializing physically at the moment, but even like you're kind of shutting off, you start to isolate sometimes. If your well-being isn't very good, your mental health isn't very good, you start to kind of not be as social as you were, avoiding phone calls, avoiding Zooms, shutting down from things, which I must admit, a couple of us I've kind of had to do some evenings just because it gets too much.
Yeah.
So it's not that is about having the balance. I'll do it sometimes, but I want others, you know, but actually when it gets to all the time, you're shutting down from people and starting to isolate yourself. That's a sign. Also, it might be that you feel like your performance is being hindered. You're not kind of on form as much as you usually was.
Yeah.
Whether that be at work or in your other roles in life as a partner, a mother, a father, you know, your performance isn't there. You might be that you've noticed a change in your eating habits, either less or more. So your appetite, you've lost appetite, or it might be that you're eating more comfort eating for your emotions.
Yeah.
Sleeping as well, that's a big sign. You know, if you're not sleeping very well, and that's either getting to sleep or having disturbed sleep throughout the night. You just keep waking because of ongoing thoughts.
I used to, when I felt like I wasn't very mentally well, I would spend more time in bed. I would be asleep all the time.
Yeah, sometimes it can go the other way. People just sleep lots.
I always feel like sometimes, like if I wasn't feeling very mentally well, I would just be like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed, I'm shutting off, and I'm avoiding.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually energy wise as well. You just think, because you're so drained mentally, you're just like, I just want to shut down, and I just want to. Yeah. And some people, so it can be either or with your sleep. And also loss of interest in things.
Yeah.
When you start losing that, you know, that pizzazz, that bit of get up and go, your mojo or whatever you call it. Yeah. But you start kind of losing that, and you're kind of thinking, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
Your interest has
I know what
gone.
you mean.
Yeah. So, and sometimes a lot of people describe that as feeling a bit numb. It's like somebody could say, oh, this is happening, it's fantastic, and it is, and they know it is, but it's like,
Oh, well, yeah.
That's the same meh, is it? Meh. It's
So-
like they're just not bothered. There's that. And also if you lose interest in not necessarily just other things, but yourself, lose interest in kind of like even the pride you take in your appearance, and things, you know, you start thinking, oh, well, what's the point? Don't bother. So you're not, so that's also a sign. And also watch out if you might think you're okay, but other people might have made a couple of comments, which you may not have liked, but they might have made a couple of comments recently, maybe about your mood or, you know, how you've been, which is different to normal than you. So the normal you. So your mood might have changed, being low mood.
Great. So that's some really good pointers, isn't it? To say kind of, and then go back to the kind of routines that we spoke about, or the things we spoke about in other videos, and how to kind of manage if you check in with yourself and you realize you feel that you were suffering from a little bit of anxiety or something like that, then, you know, we've laid out over the last few weeks, haven't we, some really great kind of coping mechanisms. Well, I say we, mainly you. I've just
no, you've been great. You've come up with some great ones. I'm liking your the G bombs and
the G bombs. Have you having your G bombs?
Yes, I have actually. Yeah,
excellent.
I do.
Excellent. I've got a coping mechanism right now. He just lies next to me. Look.
Oh, I think like everybody should have a Jack coping.
Have a little coping mechanism. Yeah.
He's brilliant.
Mara's just shouting. Get back to work. Great.
But going back to what can we do about it then? So they're the kind of signs, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they're the signs that people. So there are other ones, but they're the general ones. So if you're noticing something in those areas, it might just be, and don't worry, you know, it's not to say, oh my God, I'm going to get a mental illness now, or, you know, it's about taking care of it now in the interim. Then they're the signs. To say that your mental health needs to be taken care of. So what can you do about it? They usually say there's these 5 pillars. There's 7 pillars to everything these days, isn't there? 5, 7, 6 pillars. But generally to well-being or mental health. So your mental well-being, mental health, like I say, they are kind of the same. There's 5 ways or 5 steps to make you feel happier, to make you feel more positive, and to basically help you get the best out of life. And it is, first one being connect. So make sure that you are staying connected. Even when you don't feel like it, just keep connected with people. And I know that at the moment we can't do that physically, but everybody's just a phone call, a Zoom, a Facebook, or whatever away. All right. So please connect with people. It's vital for us. We're human. We need connection. You know, we need that. So please, you know how we're all feeling now for just the physical element, but still there's other ways to connect with people. You know, get in groups, get in communities and things on Facebook, get involved with little activities, because there are still things you can do, which is going to make you feel that connection. You know, there's nice volunteering things you can be doing at the moment, and you know, if you have got the time.
We've got a quiz night tomorrow night as well. If anyone wants to join in your gym quiz,
brilliant.
Tonight, my dad's hosting one. If anyone wants to come for that one, well, drop me a message.
Is it?
Andy, you should get involved with it. He does it. He does.
But when does it? I'm rubbish at quizzes. I hate general knowledge quizzes. I tried one the other day and I was dire. I end up coming off.
Well, it's fun because he's aiming for 30 teams tonight, but to see all those people on the screen, it's great.
Oh wow! Really you will have to let me know. Actually, do so because I like it. It's fun. It's fun.
And then you just kind of have a bit of banter. He mutes everyone when it gets too much, but that's my dad.
That's a bonus of Zoom now, isn't it?
The bonus of Zoom. Yeah.
But so things like that, Rob, that's actually excellent to say that. There's quizzes going on. There's loads of stuff online you can get involved in and feel part of something with people. So definitely connection is the first pillar. The second one is be active.
Yeah.
As we know. So, and it doesn't have to be a hardcore session, although, you know, your team are doing amazing things on there. They really are. And they're brilliant sessions. But sometimes if you just need to just get that headspace and go for a walk in nature, do that. Yeah, it's not about...
The Cara doesn't know non-hardcore. Every time we go out to do a workout. Yeah, I'm grateful you've said walks as well. Perfect.
Yeah, walks. The yoga, you've got some lovely, brilliant yoga classes on the group. Yeah, amazing. So yoga, you know, but just, it doesn't have to be, like we say, what I'm trying to stress, it doesn't have to be the hardcore stuff. You can do the gentle stuff as well, which is really good for the mind-body connection as well.
Yeah.
So be active, keep learning is the third pillar. Keep learning. So it doesn't have to be the massive things, you know, study a degree now while you're in lockdown. It doesn't have, some of you are, well done, but but it could just be, you know, just general learning, keep the brain active. So read, cooking, you could cook a new recipe. It could be some learn a bit of music, play. It could be a course, a short course. But yeah, things like that. So keep your mind active, keep learning. Or it could be like TED Talks and things. We've talked about them in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, I was just about to say I watched one before bed last night, actually. Because I always find that sometimes I do put a bit of pressure on myself to learn things, but I actually pick up little things off podcasts. And it's not, you know, even if it's an hour's podcast or a 10-minute one, there might be like I always try and think of 2 takeaway things from there. Even, you know, even if there's none, I'm like, right, let's do another one. But I watched one last night about how to stay motivated all the time, or how to procrastinate less, or, you know, and that was really interesting. That was 18 minutes before bed, and I'd done my kind of, sometimes I'm very, I'll journal, I'll breathe, and then I'll do something mindless. So I'll either play a game on my iPad, or usually I'll watch a podcast and just listen until my eyes fall asleep. And I know that sometimes a lot of, you know, don't look at light before bed, but I just find that helps me. And I suppose that's what it's about, isn't it? What works for you, I suppose.
Tool, and that's a good point to make, actually. Some things work for some, they don't for others, and that's okay. You know, if you try meditation on the free app, I keep talking about Insight Timer, it's brilliant. But if you try it and it doesn't work for you, it's not for everybody. There's other things. So do the breathing exercises, there's other things you can do, which I'll jump to in a second. Okay, but so there's, where have I got? So I've got connect, be active, keep learning. And then, which leads us to this, what we've just been talking about, really, be mindful. And that's about learning how to be in the present moment, how to keep the mind balanced, calm, disconnect from these whirring thoughts that keep going on. And there are different ways to be mindful.
Of course.
So maybe it is meditation for people. Like I said, maybe it's a breathing exercise. For some, you know, you can do different mindfulness activities. So it might be we do that walk, you go on that walk, but while you're on that walk, you take these out and you actually just look at the colours, listen to the birds, you know, start thinking, and you use your senses. So as you're walking, you're not thinking about everything else. You start going, oh, look at the colours of the trees, listen to the sounds that you can hear around you. Think about how your feet feel on the floor, are they on concrete, are they on the grass, you know, and but be in that moment.
Yeah, of course.
And it's so lovely to do that. Sometimes, I mean, I hate it when my battery goes sometimes in my earphones, especially if I'm on a jog. But if I'm walking and it goes, sometimes I think, oh, that's a blessing, and I just take it out and just listen. And I've enjoyed the walk a lot more. So there's so you can use that as a mindfulness activity, even just sitting in the garden, doing that, or looking out the window and doing that, having a mindful moment. Colouring, that's a good one. Just because you're an adult doesn't mean you can't enjoy colouring anymore. There's some great colouring books. And that's actually one I like to do as a mindfulness activity. I colour and I put some music on in the background.
Right, great.
And when you're doing that, you're not thinking of anything else. Again, it's putting your mind in the moment.
Like a jigsaw.
Yeah.
Of the day, like a jigsaw. Yeah.
Yeah, jigsaws are brilliant. That's why a lot of people, I mean, knitting for some people, crocheting. You see a lot of ladies now got into the knitting, the crochet and things like crafty stuff, because lots of crafts and things, you're in the moment. For guys, it might be you start building something, making something, or you're fixing something. While you're fixing a bike or something, you're not thinking of the other worries, are you? So that in itself, people think mindfulness, you just have to be sat for an hour meditating. It's not. It's just being in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the
I really like that mindfulness, because there is so many different ways, isn't there?
Yeah. So investigate that as well. I would encourage everyone to do that. Creating, we've talked about this. Creating good. So that was the 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I say 5?
Nope.
Must be. No, did I not?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Create a good sleep routine. I don't know where I've gone with that, to make you feel. Yeah, but definitely a good sleep routine.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, and what they do encourage is to have an alarm, not necessarily use your phone as an alarm. To have an actual alarm.
I've always thought about buying an alarm. I need to buy one. And the other thing is, I was looking at, because I use my phone as like a sleep timer to see when I've woken up, and I have a look at it through the night. Although it's probably null and void, because my alarm goes off every morning like at 6:15, and definitely don't get out of bed till about 7. So it's probably null and void. It misses that last 45 minutes. But I was looking at these watches that you can get to monitor your recovery, and sleep is such a part of it. So I've definitely been looking into them, and I suppose then it's not on your phone, is it? It's on your watch, and you just put your kind of alarm on there. So
yeah. I'm trying to look now. It'll get me. I'm trying to think of these. I've got connect, be active. I've got one. Give. That was the other 5. Give. Right, so that's kind of like give, be kind to others.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, because that's where the aspect of if we're feeling part of a community, as I said, feeling connected, if you're also giving. So meaning, and it's not you have to like spend lots of money on people or whatever. It's just about that, being giving, being kind to others. So give kindness is definitely, because you're not going to feel bad while you do that, and that is taking care of your well-being.
Yeah, definitely.
Do things you enjoy. So this is just some last little tips. Is that okay, Rob?
Of course. Yeah, I've got a webinar about 2:00, so a couple more would be perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So we had good sleep routine. Do things you enjoy.
Yeah.
And I know you're thinking, but we can't do all that we want to enjoy right now. Well, what could you enjoy right now?
Yeah.
What did you used to enjoy? Like I said, just because we're adults, you can still colour in.
Yeah.
Things like this.
TV, if a lot of people enjoy TV, a lot of people, I'm trying not to watch TV, is what I hear as much as possible. It's like, well, if you like it, now's the time. So
yeah. And integrating some of that, that self-care.
Yeah.
Have a bit of nice long bubble bath now then, and put some candles around. You never normally have the time. Do it now.
Yeah.
Okay. But eat well. So obviously take care of your eating habits, and but encourage treats now and again as well. 80-20 rule. Clear and tidy space. I would definitely recommend for your well-being. I know, and you think, what's that got to do? Well, actually, a lot, because if you're around boxes or messiness, or things just seem unsettled, your environment has an impact on you, and you'll feel it. So like they say, is it tidy house, tidy mind? Same kind of aspect. So make sure that your space is clear and it's all kind of nice, neat and tidy for you to enjoy that space and not feeling cramped. And
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Journal we've spoken about, so I'd encourage that. And have that, I put me time, schedule it in just as much as you schedule in all this other stuff, like your work, like the kids, like checking in with everyone. scheduling the you time.
Definitely.
And that me time is the stuff like the mindfulness activities, the walks out in nature, the just going off and reading for a bit, or doing that class that you want to do.
Yeah, definitely. The stuff stuff that you want to do. It's been really good today. There's been lots of positive things, and we've identified how you can kind of identify if you're not as mentally healthy as you perhaps have been before. We've identified some methods to spot them, and we've identified some methods to kind of what we can do about them as well. All the while with talking about Mental Health Awareness Week, which is a big one this week. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. If anybody wants to know any further information about that, then Mind, if you look on Mind online, Mind has lots of, if you're thinking, some people might have listened to this and thought, oh yeah, I could do with taking care of my mental health, but I feel like I might have a mental illness, like say, which is different, and you are concerned about that, then have a look on Mind, because they've got a list of all the different mental illnesses on there, the signs, and they've also got a lot of links to extra support, free resources.
Yeah, of course. There's some great resource on that website. Great resources.
Mind is brilliant, and NHS as well. So,
and you, of course, always.
You can always check in with me, and even if you just want to send an email and ask me questions, then do, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And if you are interested in the challenge that I've been doing this week for mental health awareness, then just start it. You're not too late. They're only simple little tasks each day, and they're actually quite nice. The first task is how you're going to be kind to yourself this week. So there you go.
Excellent. And then Cara and I are going live this evening at 5:00. We're going to talk about the class timetable. We're going to talk about cool things coming up, your gym wise. So if anyone's watching, lots of exciting things she's shouting. I'm sure there'll be more Jack on it as well. So I'm sure you'll tune in. And like I said, the point where you said to keep in contact with people. We've got the quiz on a Friday night. Dad's doing a quiz tonight. Like I said, you can always message us and always message you, Amanda, because it's a really great thing that we've got going on here. Mental Health Awareness Week. Last words for people. Be kind is mine. What's yours?
Speak. If you're struggling, speak up. Excellent.
Thank you very much. And Jack's going to say bye. Oh, he's like, oh, Dad, stop waking me up.
Bye, Jack.
He's so tired.
No, he's just like, and I know what word would work now, but I'd feel mean if I actually said.
Yeah, don't say it. Look at him.
I know. Oh, look, he's doing it. Right. All right. Well, thank you very much, Rob.
Thanks, Amanda.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.